that corner front, you gotta have a rock bottom ground. That mortar, down there, like wristwatch.
You know how it feels when you've set yourself a task, worked hard, finished it. Time then to stop, rest, and think about what you've done.
They can get them for you, they're high.
And if your job took months, long, hard months of welding, wiring, riveting, sweating, watching the thing slowly take its shape, the day of its completion long worked toward and long awaited, then that day's coming's worth relishing, worth talking about. This is the day, and these are the builders. At another time, in another place, you might have found them welding the beams of a new schoolhouse, or hoisting a bucket of bolts to the skeleton top of a new skyscraper. They are men who have changed the Earth's face in their day, spanned its rivers with steel, laced its surface with concrete, built shelter for its people out of iron and brick and mortar, built factories and suburbs, casually, all in the day's work. They are men. And it is the aspirations of men, the plans, the blueprints, that they make real. Theirs is the strength and skill that can turn a theory into a dam, an idea into a tower. They've altered the earth in their time, but the job they finish today is beyond earthly purpose, beyond ordinary aspiration. It is a dream of the centuries. They are the builders of a rocket which will lift men to the moon. They have been waiting for the day when the rocket would take the first 3 miles of that extraordinary journey, the day when it would roll slowly out from its assembly site to its launch pad. And this is the day. It is an ordinary man that will make this extraordinary journey, and ordinary men will make it possible. They're making him a suit for strolling out on the moon, something special. Cut not from fine woolens, but from the best grade aluminum. The latest style in neoprene rubber, elastic web, plastic tubing, nylon, cheesecloth. 6 layers in all, with pockets extra big for picking up moonstones.
This is number 11. That's that long one.
Number 11? Well, this is number 11.
I know, but number 11 was supposed to be, that's such a... I mean, that's what I got fooled the other day on that. But did you ever try putting these flat and a round together and one a little shorter than the other? No, these were supposed to be the same size. Now, I haven't measured them. Now, just the heck of it, let's get a hold of it. Hold that there. Yeah, but try it on this side up.
What difference you gonna make?
Well, this is flat.
Yeah, but it's still gonna go around in this. It's gotta go both ways. It's gotta go around this.
And here, too, the months and years of planning, testing, experimenting, accepting this concept of design, rejecting that hypothesis. Here, too, the long labor comes down to something you can touch. Something which can be glued and sewed and taped.
After you go down a couple of inches, take this here and check back, and then you'll know whether you're too close to the edge or if you have to push out a little bit. Monday morning, we'll start right away on suit number 14.
They were ordinary humans who planned and built all this, and it is an ordinary human who will take the trip. And the men who test the suit know the whole catalog of names for what happens to an ordinary human if a suit leaks. Hypoxia, dysparism, irradiation, anoxia, blackout, red out, ebulism. This is a trip of 239,000 miles into space. At only 5 miles out, there's not enough air for a man to breathe. Only 9 miles out, gas bubbles form in the tissues of a man's body. Only 12 miles out, a man's very blood boils away in the low pressure of space. And it is the suit which will protect him from all of that. And so the suit is tested and retested and retested.
Huh? 1 minute on the nose clip, then start the sample.
And now, the man himself, the space traveler, he must be tested too. All the ordinary functions of his body measured, perspiration, breathing, blood pressure, heart rate, to ascertain what he can do himself while exploring the moon, and what his apparatus must do for him. So here he is, expelling his breath into a plastic bag for the benefit of science. Here is the inheritor of Galileo and Hevelius, who mapped the moon from the rooftops. Here is the successor to the great astronomers and the lofty dreamers of science fiction. Here he is, padding along a treadmill in his bathing suit. But the man whose heartbeat is being charted here today is not satisfied, as Galileo had to be, with only looking. He wants to touch. And already, he is practicing his landings. Down the ages, we have stared at it, wondered at it. Some have even worshipped it. It moved our tides and made our crops grow, or so we imagined, and served as a lamp for lovers. To Shelley, the moon was an orbed maiden with white fire laden. To Shakespeare, a silver bull new bent in heaven. The moon belonged to the poets, as long as it was out of reach. But very soon, the man who now practices landings on an artificial moon will throttle back his spaceship for a touchdown on the real one and bring his craft closer and closer until he lands and satisfies the yearning of the ages. First, he must learn how to do some things. For Columbus, who already knew how to turn the bow of his ship westward, what was required after that was simply the courage to hold his tiller irrevocably on course. This new explorer must carry with him not only courage, but skill, a vast experience in actions mankind has no experience with, in the technique of docking 2 capsules at the speed of 3,600 miles per hour at the rim of the moon. So inside an ordinary aircraft hangar are created a look and feel of space, in which the new Columbus, his hand on the electronic tiller, can rehearse his delicate navigation into the new unknown. Traveling with the man in the space capsule will be all the accumulated scientific knowledge of the centuries, expressed in the staccato abbreviations of the engineers. LEM separates from the CSM at 0 plus 68 hours. Difference in velocity, 4.35 feet per second to a distance in orbit of 735 feet. Powered descent commences at 49,500 feet to the hover altitude of 500 feet. At a LEM altitude of 15 feet, the descent engine is stopped. Lunar impact speed, 3 miles per hour. And mathematically, on paper, a man is on the moon. But of course you can go only so far toward the moon with theories, equations, and models on the desktop. After that, you must put the theories and equations into sheet metal and roll out full-sized versions for testing. The result is an ungainly product of the genius of man. which can be hung from cables to make it weigh, but it will weigh on the moon.
Drop me just a little bit. Huh? Oh, there you go. Oh, I'm coming. That's too much,
They have called it a LEM, Lunar Excursion Module. And like the rocket, like the spacesuit, like the man who walks on the treadmill, every part of the LEM must be tested to be positive it is worthy of such an excursion. And in another place, still another test completed, a test of the great engines which will lift the moon rocket from the Earth. Now, from its test site in Alabama, the enormous engine is to travel to the launch complex on the shore of Florida, there to be made ready for its moment of use. And as the engine is prepared for its trip to the launch pad, men in other places contribute the work of their hands. A set of gaskets from Michigan, gears from Indiana, fuel tanks from Louisiana, fuel from Texas, engines from California, computers from New Jersey, a spacesuit from Delaware, a moon landing craft from New York, a heat shield from Massachusetts. Now after the planning and the building, now they are all rolling. Down the highways on flatbed trucks, down the railroad tracks in padded cartons, on barges or airplanes, the great parts of the rockets and the small, the best products of 100,000 minds and 600,000 hands, and the whole vast dream impossible without the least of them. And all of them made for one day. And this is the day. Not just for the scientists, or for the brave young men in space helmets whose names will appear afterwards in the headlines, but for all the men in hard hats with hammers and torches, for the users of slide rules and protractors, for the women who took stitches in aluminum fabric, and the doctors who took notes on respiration and heartbeat, for the mathematicians, the engineers, and the construction men who knew all along this job was more than a dam or a building. The pace of the day is agonizingly slow. The rocket begins its 3-mile journey at a speed of 1 mile an hour. Moved on a giant platform, each link in the tread more than a ton in weight, each foot of the trip deliberate. The 6 million pounds of the rocket pressing down, the great tractor pressing forward. One day soon, the rocket will launch a spacecraft on a trip of 500,000 miles at 24,000 miles an hour. Today, 3 miles at 1 mile an hour. Well, those who waited a long time for this day would not wish it to go faster. You know how it is when you've set yourself a task and finished it. Time then to step back and look at what you've done. And if the accomplishment was hard and long in coming, then that day is worth relishing, worth talking about. Tonight, the 3-mile journey's over. Tomorrow, the longer journey begins. It is the extraordinary work of ordinary men, seized by a dream, that after 10,000 years of staring in wonder at the moon, one of their own might now climb to it, touch it, and stare back, in wonder, no doubt, at the world of ordinary men from which he came.